All right, how is everyone doing today? Camera audio is on. I can see myself on the screen. Yeah, right. Everybody's here. It looks like everyone is here tonight. Where's everybody from? I'm seeing people that it's 11 o'clock for them, so you guys are somewhere else other than California. As always, this is a weekly live stream that I do here on my channel, and we talk about just random stuff. I try to put a thing on the channel as a thumbnail to try to catch people's attentions and then try to touch on it, but most of the time you guys guide the conversation wherever you guys want, and I'm okay with that because, you know, it's cool. I'm here because of you guys. Kevin T's in the house. He's got that little symbol, and that is because he's a member of the channel. There's a little join button at the bottom here that you can join, and I think I did things like $4.99 a month or something like that. And so, yeah, they're the ones, the members of this channel are the ones that are making these live streams possible. We usually do it, you know, once a week, Monday nights like this, and yeah, sometimes we go up to 3 hours. It's crazy. It's crazy that we can just talk about batteries and stuff. And today I wanted to make it about those complete BMS kits. Those are the, oh look, a nut. Here you go, you could eat it. These are these guys, right? And I finally got these in from China. It took a little while to find them at the right price and the right ones that they weren't super cheap and stuff. And so I put those kits available there. And I made a video last week how to put them together, how to weld them, how to solder them and stuff. And today I wanted to use it as a thumbnail because I kind of want everybody to get them because, you know, I kind of worry. If a lot of people bought the kits, a lot of people have bought those kits. A lot of them. So there's a lot of you guys that are building battery packs using the PCB kits. I'm worried that many of you might not use BMS because it wasn't included in the kit. So now that it's available, I want you guys to at least know that it's available so that when you finish your battery pack, you will have a protection of, you know, one of these guys protecting. This is not the best in the market or whatever, but it's good enough, and it's got redundant, you know, 3 units on their own, and it'll do something. I mean, it'll do 60 amp continuous according to the, you know, specs, but you know, we want to be conservative, so 50 amps, which is crazy because that means 50 amps. What's 50 amps at 24 volts? Quick, someone that knows math. I think it's like 1.2 kilowatt or something like that. It's a pretty powerful little thing, right? And how much are for full $49, right? So the kit's going for $49. All the hardware, you put it on there. So if you think about it, yeah, 1.2 kilowatt, is that what it is? Let's see if someone did it. Might be a bit rate, I don't know. Let's see what you guys are saying. Anyways, that is a good way to have a BMS. And it'll do like a little pack, or you can just add more and then you can do, you know, a full pack. And it's still gonna be, you know, like to do a full box, I use 4 of them, so that would be about $200 worth of hardware, right? So it's still quite a bit less than some of the other systems out there to do the BMS, right? And it's kind of redundant. It's got many units. It's got a little bit of fail-safe. It's not, you know, it doesn't give you all the bells and whistles, but it'll do the job. I think it'll do the 2 main things that you want. Disconnect your battery if your cells go out of range, right? And that's one that you want here. Okay, let's look at that. Look at that. Jesse 044 is in Burbank, California. He's close to me. Nathan D is in Australia. Welcome to the David Horton. Welcome to the channel. Buenas noches. He is probably, I don't know where, but he's somewhere in the Spanish-speaking world. Vancouver, Canada. Akron, Ohio. Sometimes we see Jehu's laundry. That's true. Sometimes we do. Do we? Yeah, sometimes we do. Active balancer from China is a lot better than Batrium. I don't know about that. Is there any of you guys that are not having a good luck with the Batrium stuff, or you're just saying because it's expensive? Sean Metz, thank you for the $2 for the super chat. 2 amp balancer Free energy. Anything else is here is 15. Mitch DePaulo, it's 15. Wow, we have some young ones in the audience today. Let's see here. Smoke weekend every day. 420 just passed, right? 2 days ago was 420 for all you guys who smoke weed. There you go. Did you guys place up? I like your 6 kilowatt kit, Jehu. Your camera quality tank might be a bit of a rate. I don't know. It's bad. I wonder what it is. It looks good on my thing here. It might be your connection. Active bouncer from China. Okay, I already got that one. They ate below about 2 volts. It wouldn't keep them. Okay, 24 times 50. Yeah, 1250 watts. Okay, so there we go. But 1.2 kilowatt worth of protection right here on a single board, $50, right? So yeah, not too bad. I think I think we're hitting the target, right? I aim to try to make something that's maybe a little bit better and a little bit cheaper than what's out there. I don't know if this is better, but it is cheaper. No, it is better. I mean, this work, right? I've been doing my test over there, and they work. As soon as I disconnect the one way to test it really quick, by the way, I'm making a video about this detail, right? How to put those packs together and stuff. But look, just to go over it here, if you have one of these, you put it on, and you want to test if the BMSs are working, the quickest way is to disconnect the little ribbon cable, right? So if you disconnect the ribbon cable, and then all of a sudden you lose power here, that means your MOSFET's turned off, all 3 of them. Well, I mean, you should probably do it, you know, individually, like disconnect 2 of them, and you should have no power. It shouldn't be continuity and things, right? And then you connect the thing, and if the continuity happens, then you know that one BMS it's working, right? And then you should disconnect that one, connect the next one, and then do it like that, right? So that you can know that all 3 are working. Because if you just do it like that, you know, maybe one of them is working and the other 2 are not. And you would know, because all you know is that when you connect the ribbon, then all of a sudden your MOSFETs are on, but you know, maybe not all of them. So that's the quickest way to find out. Also, another quick way to find out if where it's really important is at the bottom, right? To save your batteries, you run your small battery pack, or even like one board, right? Like let's say you put one board on this guy, you load it up with batteries, and then you run a load, and you let those batteries just tank all the way down until these boards turn off, right? Because then you know, once it turns off, then you can go and check the voltage on the cells, right? And if they're all like around 3, you know, or above 2.5, hopefully, then you know it did its job and it quit and disconnected your pack before it killed your batteries. Another one would be to charge, right? To put like some cells, you know, put one board with cells, like maybe, you know, make sure all the cells are good, like maybe whatever voltage they are, you make sure one cell is higher than all the other ones, right? Maybe just like a little bit, you know, like half a volt or something, and then you charge through the thing. And what should happen is that cell that is higher voltage is going to hit the 4.2 volts first. And what's going to happen, all 3 of these boards should start shunting energy, right? So they should start, their little resistors should turn on, and then it should start balancing. And so it would allow to, even if it goes up higher until all the other ones reach and that one's still high, then it's going to bring that one down eventually and then match all the other ones. So if that doesn't happen in one board, you know, then maybe you have an indication that you know, on your little pack with just 7 cells, then you have an indication that it might not work, you know, when you have a full stack of these guys. So yeah, there's little ways that you can test these guys to see if they're working, and once you know they're working, then you know, you just connect your pack and charge it. Go for it. Of course, also remember that those 50 amps, if you have like an inverter that's gonna run more than 50 amps, then you gotta use multiple, right? So you have a system that might run at 100 amps, then you might want to do 3 boards, right? So that you have some headroom in there and stuff. So that's what we're doing. Let's see, South Carolina. It's in the house. All the batteries that I showed you with the heat sink have recovered and low resistance. Huntington Beach. David Horton's in Huntington Beach. We have some other local guy over here. Look at that. San Luis Obispo. There we go. More. There's a lot of people in California tonight. How's the summer going? It's doing good. I just shot some, like, another little mini documentary on me and what I'm doing and stuff. And this time I got to talk about the, you know, the BMS project, right? To help people, common people make batteries quicker, faster, cheaper, whatever. Yeah, so I don't know when that's gonna come out, and I think maybe a lot of you guys from Europe are gonna get to see it. It's some zooming production house. I don't know how big they are in the Netherlands, but yeah, you guys might get to see one of these piece on me there. And I think it's a series of a bunch of people that are doing and stuff that is good, or I don't know, changing the world. I don't remember what was the name of the thing, but yeah, we shot that on Sunday because it was the only spot that we had. They had been trying to get a hold of me for a while, but I was just too busy and I couldn't. And so Sunday was the last day, and so that's what we went. And the bus played a role. We were driving around and we got to shoot it and stuff. It was pretty cool. I want the battery monitoring for 14S. I can't find. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, there's not even for well, there is some for 8S. But it really didn't exist the way I wanted it. So yeah, we had to make it. So maybe we can make one for 14S. It doesn't necessarily have to be this form factor, right? I mean, we kind of did it just so that if people wanted to use it as a topper, they could do it, right? If you're using like laying the boards this way, or I don't know, right? But maybe 14S will be longer or something, and I don't know. Yeah, you guys that are that are designing PCBs based on this system, yeah, let's do a 14S version of that thing. Oh, look at that, we got a new member, Roman Chavez. Welcome. Thank you for joining the channel, becoming a member of the channel. Your videos want to make me learn more. Very good stuff. Oh, thank you. There you go. I'm doing my job. My job is mainly, when they ask me to define myself, I'm like, I'm just a YouTuber that, what did I say? That inspires people to build DIY projects with batteries, right? So I think that defines what I'm doing here, right? I think inspiring people to build stuff. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Baytrum? So, Baytrum is good. I did play with it and I set it up here last year. What I remember is that it was really hard to set up. So hard that I had to be walked by the hand setting it up by the developer. And once it was set, and it was hard, right? Because I didn't have a PC. And then he was like, I actually do have a PC. It's a Mac, but it runs Parallels. No, it doesn't run Parallels. It runs like Windows natively, right? And so then I, booted it up on Windows, and then it was fine. But he couldn't really get it to work with like a virtual machine. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, it's crazy. This thing needs a computer to set it up. It needs a computer to monitor it. It needs a computer to so it really is an incomplete system. In my eyes, it seemed like it's an incomplete system. You need all this other hardware to use it, to set it up, to make it work. I know it's a common thing for many pieces of equipment. I think it is kind of, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be. Here's an example of a system that doesn't require a PC to set it up. I mean, this thing has all the wizard to set it up. It's in here, right? And it's very and this little screen, very graphically oriented. It shows you diagrams of what type of batteries you want to use, how many batteries, how the connections work. Everything is here, right? So if this guy can do it, I think all the other hardware that can be designed that is of a certain level could definitely have a user GUI interface that doesn't require you to install a second machine running Windows, and then have cables and stuff, And I know for a lot of you guys it's super simple. You guys are already natively on a Windows, but for me it isn't, right? I use a Mac, and so to run a Windows machine, it's a huge inconvenience, right? So, I mean, I'm not the only one, right? And you got to take a look at like a lot of different people are going to be using these systems, right? And so that's why I like these guys. There's no setup. These guys are already come pre-programmed, right? Or whatever, configured to work on a very defined set of, structures. Cells above 4.2, it starts shunting energy. It starts, balancing stuff. And I think it'll disconnect the thing if it goes above a certain level. Above a certain current level, it will also turn off the MOSFETs. Below a certain voltage on any of the cells, it will disconnect, right? So for me, like, okay, those are the main functions right there. And these are cheap. These are available in a lot of factories in China. So it fits the bill. You can literally just solder that thing in there, put them on there, and just run them. And so that's really important for me. I wish that Baytrim was more like that, and maybe in the future. I know that designing a custom-made piece of equipment that that can run high levels of power is not easy. But I mean, it's possible, right? So I'm hoping that maybe in the future it'll be more of that type of equipment, or So as far as using it, as far as like reliability and stuff, I don't really know. I hadn't used it for a long time. I actually took my system out of my wall and then took it to Puerto Rico and then gave it to some guy in Puerto Rico so that I can make a connection. And I think now he's there developing like a custom system for him. You know what I mean? Like, and it's cool. I was just trying to help. It's like, here, you don't have a system, I can't get there in time, I'll just take my unit. So, and I just never replaced it, right? So, let's see here. The Shy Wolf, thank you for your $1.99. Much appreciated. We're on now. It'd be cool to make a battery pack 16 QT cooler. What is that, David Horton? I need a good electric motor to convert my Beetle. Do you have any good connections? No, not connections. Yeah, the people the motor that I have in my bus, those people never. So the EV side of things is so small that they were never really looking for. I was never able to get a deal with them, right? I overpaid for my motor. I could have gotten cheaper. I went straight to them, and instead of them giving me like a deal, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna penalize you because they didn't go through one of our retailers." So they just tacked on like an extra $500 on top of it or something. Like I could have bought it from EV West for less, right? But at the time I didn't know EV West, so I couldn't do it. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. Okay, and then I become a thing, and I'm like, oh, I can push product. I'm helping you promote your product, but I kind of feel kind of weird because not only did you not give me like a discount, you actually charged me more. I was like, okay, and then I kind of hit him up. I was like, hey, maybe I can make a video about this thing and go to your facilities and shoot a thing on how you make the motors and stuff. And they just didn't answer. Like, it's just nothing back, right? And I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of weird. But anyways, it's a good product. Those guys are here local to me. Yeah, they make a cool thing. I think now oh man, there's not the Warp 9. What's the other one? The new one. There's a couple of motors now that are good, but the names are escaping me right now. But the AC50, that's what I have on my bus, right? And that's pretty solid motor. It's not super big. It's like 80 kilowatts, so it's not like a huge motor, about 100 horsepower, something like that. So you could use that one, and I don't know, maybe they were somewhere around like $3,500. I don't know what the current prices of that is. You have to look at hpvs.com. and then they'll see that. I just got Badass 2S to 24S Bluetooth active balancer. Got it for $100 US. Loved it. Wow, really? That's pretty cool. Let's see. Bought 60 26s from battery hookup laterally. How many 2650 cells can you monitor with one BMS? I want to build 12 volt block for my RB. Great channel. You can monitor a ton of them. I mean, so if you want to make 12 volts, then you're gonna have a 4S, and you can have as many parallel cells, right? So you'd have to look at the BMS, like what level it balances the packs, right? And if you have a lot of them, like if you have 200 or something, like parallel sets, then that becomes like giant battery, and if it's only balancing at a slow rate, right? At a slower rate than those are trying to get out of balance, then it won't work. So you'll have to add like more balancing, which you can add by just putting another BMS unit in parallel, and then you just doubled your so that it just depends like that. Most of these BMSs, they don't have like high levels of balancing, right? That's the only thing I think that the Batrium system has, is that one has like some crazy balancing speeds, and it's because it's designed to be work with really bad batteries, like batteries that are not in good shape, maybe packs that weren't put together correctly. It was able to balance like packs that are off way more than these ones, right? And so that's the question. It's like depends on the BMS system, depends on the size, and depends on the rate of which it balances, right? And so yeah, it's not as easy to answer that question as that. It depends on the equipment. It's all different. Can you do live broadcasts on Thursday or Friday? Yeah, I'm sure I can do one Thursday or one Friday. But yeah, basically, I used to do them just whenever I felt like it, and I would get so many complaints and people saying like, you need to pick a date because we need to know when this is gonna come. And so then I just pick Mondays because those are my least like hectic days, and so yeah, I've been doing them like that for a while. So that's why I'm doing on Mondays. I need a carne asada burrito and some pozole verde. Yes, me too. I had some Mexican food today, actually. Favorite YouTube channel at the moment. Oh, there you go. Thank you for that. I have 16 of those red 31 120s from the alarm hookup on eBay, but 4 of them don't want to hold a charge. Ooh. Yeah, maybe they were discharged too long. Maybe it sounds like they might be bad. Do they lose the charge when you charge them, and after a while you let them sit? I mean, that's an indication that they're not good. They have like a internal, short or something like that, and so they're discharging. What are your thoughts on using superconductors to offset the battery usage in electric cars? You mean supercapacitors, supercaps? I think typically they're not really needed. I think electric cars need a big battery that can usually support the takeoff, energy needs. Like take an example, my bus, right? My bus has a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack in it, and that's rated, conservatively at 3C. So my battery pack is able to do about 150 kilowatt, right? 150 kilowatt continuous. So 150, that's about 200 horsepower, right? So let's say that you're like, well, yes, but we want to take off, and like, so that means you could probably run like twice that for a few seconds. So that means that I could probably get like 300 kilowatt out of my pack, out of my 50 kilowatt pack for a few seconds for takeoff, right? And so 300, so that's almost like 400 horsepower out of my tiny little pack, right? So now you take, for example, the Model S batteries, right, that are at 85, 90s. I think now standard says 100 kilowatt. So yeah, you're talking about the pack being able to do about 1,000 horsepower without the need of, you know, supercaps. So the only time that the supercaps are really needed are if you're gonna have a tiny, tiny battery. So let's say you're building some car, some dragster, some, you know, yeah, like a dragster, right? And you want to be as light as possible, so you don't want to have a 600-pound battery. You want to have a 100-pound battery, maybe, right? Like little one. And that's where, like, okay, it's a little tiny, tiny little battery. Then, you know, maybe you want to couple it with supercaps. Or maybe you just want to use LiPo batteries, because those are, you know, they can put out some power, like almost 100 Cs, right? And so, I mean, there are models that can do 100 Cs. So, again, like, there's not, in automotive, I don't think there's a lot of use cases for it. Usually the battery can do it, can do what we need to do, unless you got some crazy demand for some specialty thing or whatever. Yeah, supercaps are not needed. Let's see, I think you mean supercapacitors. I have ever seen, heard of modular composable BMS, maybe something that could snap together to grow, or arbitrary size cell size. No, I've never heard about that. Jupiter, Florida, would you show the way a battery pack is used to power a skateboard if you have one? Yeah, I wonder what do you mean? Just like go overall, like, because I don't understand. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, running a battery on a skateboard. It's just usually it's a 10S pack, and either 1P or, yeah, on the lower end skateboards is 1P. Then, you know, you start getting up there 2P. Then I have one that it's like 5P, so it's 50 cells, and it pretty much beats almost any skateboard you throw at it, including the really expensive, you know, $2,500 ones, and it goes up to 100. Goes what? 40 miles of range. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Please explain what you mean by 3C. 1C is one capacity, right? And so 3C is 3 times the capacity of the battery. So if you have 50 kilowatt hours of battery, and the cells are rated at 3C, that means you can get 3 times its capacity on a continuous basis. So you can get 150 kilowatt of power continuously out of it, right? There are some LiPo cells, like I said, some you know, LiPos like RC cars that are used in the radio control toy, you know, and those, I mean, there's 50C packs, there's 100C packs, right? Tiny little packs that you can put a little helicopter and that thing runs hundreds of amps, you know, that come out of a tiny little amp, a little battery. Of course, only for like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, right? Because that energy is all gone. It's a tiny pack that can put out its energy really quickly. But yeah, so that's essentially what supercaps offer. The ability to charge really quickly and discharge really quickly. Usually not needed in a car. Let's see. What would the cost be if the BMS and PCB boards came pre-assembled straight from the manufacturer? I think it would be easier for the end user. I think it would. I just haven't been able to find someone in China that will do that for me. I don't even know where to start looking. I'm super busy just trying to like finish developing the system, right? Like, so, you know, it's like a Lego. It's just a system. You can use it a million ways. And I'm trying to find the best way that fits the best criteria, the best, you know, the best scenario, right? And I'm working on that, and I'm just one guy, and I'm doing a bunch of things. I'm making videos, I'm doing this, you know, making videos for like to sell batteries, because that's what makes me money and stuff. And then I'm developing all this thing, right? So it's taking a little while, but I'm testing some stuff, you know. So once I get the design nailed, right, which is what I want to make, you know, what I think that is going to help the most amount of people, then then I'll move on to, you know, doing stuff like cost, like efficiency, right? Like finding ways to minimize the cost, right? So maybe talking to like the people who make the, you know, the battery holders, right? Because if we had those battery holders with like the pins just bent outward, so that you would be able to like solder them, you know, surface mount style, then you would be able to eliminate about half the PCBs, for example, right? And that wouldn't be like really hard. We'd just have to get some guy in China and the factory that's making these things and make us a custom order. You know, it's like, okay, these pins, instead of going straight down, then you can just bend them, you know? And I'd say that it's got to be in the factory, because no one really wants to sit there and, you know, do like 400 like these holders and do like, you know, 10,000 of these little pins and bend them. One, they're brittle, you'll break them. And that's the other, you know, and so it will take a long time. So it's just not feasible, right? We're trying to make this thing easier. So I'm going to do that, where I'm going to optimize the design for cost efficiency, right? To cut costs. And then after that also, yeah, find like someone in China that might just be able to solder this stuff for us. Again, these are through-hole components, right? There's nothing special about any of these components. They're all available over there. There's nothing custom here. This is all could be automated. I think they have that flow, I don't know, some system where they flow this thing, and yeah, just they populate it, and yeah, they could do it way easier than us. I'm not there yet, right? And eventually I want to get there. Eventually I want to get to the point where I can offer, yeah, completely made, you know, modules, so that you can just slap on batteries and then you're done. But I mean, you know, so it takes a while. Everyone's souls come from battery hookup. Battery hookup. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, yeah, battery hookup. If you're looking for batteries, let's see, hookup.com. Is that what it is? Yeah, and we still have those inverters. I'm gonna get some of the 50 hertz. I'm gonna try and see how we can use them. Obviously, you know, if you're in a 50 hertz country, you can just order them and use them, no problem. But because we have so many of them, and they seem to be less popular than the 60 hertz, then I'm gonna try to figure out if we can actually, I don't know, convert them, hack them or something, so that we can use them here too. Link to the Tesla that burned in Singapore, anyone? Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty crazy. It just caught fire, exploded. So there's proof that, you know, it doesn't matter how good your BMS is. It can still happen, you know. Everything's possible, I guess, right? But it's very unlikely. I mean, how many Teslas are out there, and how many have caught fire like that? There's been a couple, right? Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, so there we go. I'll put this link also here. TC787, he's reselling Tom's batteries, or battery hookups batteries. So if you want to get some batteries from him, those are legit. He's offering some extra services. I think he's going to be, he's from Puerto Rico and stuff, and so yeah, you can, that's another outlet that you can buy batteries from. What do you think about prismatic LiFePO4 cells? How good are they for solar? Yeah, they're okay, they're good. It's just they're not the cheapest, and they're kind of hard to get still, because they're low production cells at this point, right? They never really took off and being like used in mass production like the 18650. So let me take a little quick break here. My wife is about to come in, and then I'll come back, okay? Quick break. You ever wonder what people think about our electric conversions? See the reactions on this 70s Porsche 911.
The one that, yeah, that's the one from me, yeah. Yeah, like,
Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Breen with EV West, and 7 years ago we started our little electric car speed shop so we could help people make classic cars go faster. At the time we were looking around for venues, and there wasn't a lot available to electric cars, and we came across Pikes Peak, and they actually had a class. And we ended up building the car, purpose-built for Pikes Peak. We ran the race in 2012. We ended up setting a record for the fastest street-legal electric car to go up the hill.
Now, the car that Michael is talking about is the famous M3.
342 horsepower and 850.4 pound-feet of torque.
A few years later, I saw it. This is a test of a Light-O-Color branded LG HG2 cell. According to the spec sheet, this cell can do a maximum of 20 amp. Continue. Alrighty, and we're back. What are we talking about here? Argentino. From Chile, Kevin T. Oh, he's asking somebody, sir. Let's see. Make your own spot welder or buy one. I think there are a lot of kits that you can make, right? They're kind of inexpensive, and yeah, and people have they have a lot of success with them. I've seen them. I haven't made one yet. In fact, the last video that I make, I use that thing, and then people are like, oh, why don't you do it right? And I'm like, come on, I don't do anything right. Get out of here. Good day from Australia, South Australia. I'm just setting up my 12-volt solar. Is it better to have more than one inverter? Well, it depends. I mean, if you have one load that is 3,000 watts, you're not going to be able to use two 1500 watt inverters, right? You have to have an inverter that will be able to accept your biggest load, right? And so you can't, yeah, you can use several inverters, smaller inverters, to make, to supply one big load, or yeah, so that doesn't work that way. I mean, if you have a bunch of little loads, yeah, you can have a bunch of little ones, because then you can, I guess some inverters are really inefficient, and they'll standby like mode. They'll waste a bunch of energy, but I think that's less and less the case. Maybe on the low end of the thing. I've never seen one that wastes a lot of energy just sitting idle there. But I've heard of people that have said that that's a problem. I am sitting about 1,000 lipo cells I got from laptops, but I can't solder the tabs. Yeah, sometimes they're made out of aluminum, the tabs. At least one of them is. Cesar Reynal Mesa says, I'm a school teacher in Mexico. I want my students to make a air conditioner jacket with Peltier pallets or plates. What batteries would you recommend? Any of them. I don't know. I mean, that's a super broad question. It's, yeah, any batteries that would work. What are your, I mean, I don't know anything about Peltier pads. I don't know what the voltage they work with. I don't know if they're like energy hungry or, so I don't know anything about your design to be able to tell you which batteries would work better. I have appliances that are 1,600 watts, says Kevin. Must have 2,000 watts. Any news on the Dan Floss inverters being used off-grid? No. I haven't. So supposedly, I don't know. Supposedly someone that was super knowledgeable or something was going to review the units and stuff. And I don't know. I don't know where the review is. But I was forwarded some video, and it basically just, they connected it and I'd say, oh yeah, we can't use it in this countries because there's 50 hertz on the 50 hertz versions. I don't know. I haven't gotten my hands on the units yet, so I don't know, if we'll be able to use them. But you definitely can use them off grid using a separate inverter. So basically you have to make a microgrid, right? So one inverter, you have to set it with batteries, and then it produces the grid, right? A grid. And then the secondary will, the grid tie then ties to it and then matches and syncs their waveforms. And so then now you have two inverters, and essentially what you have done is you've doubled your capacity or triple, or you added to the original capacity. I believe that is probably the only way that you can do that now with those inverters. Originally, I had heard that these were, they have the capability to run off a grid, but I don't know, right? A lot of the stuff that I heard originally about these has turned out to not be true, or maybe, So I don't know. Until I get my hands and I play with one, I'm not going to be able to say for sure. Griffin, thank you for the $10. Keep up the videos. Nice work. Bedtime. Past your bedtime. Just north of Philly. Yeah, for you East Coast guys, it's probably late for you. I'd say that recent Tesla just picked up a stray screw nail into the battery, since construction's everywhere in Singapore, especially near roads. Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why that would happen. I guess the computers could have gone haywire too, and they might have let the batteries overcharge too. That's a possibility. But yeah, probably the most likely is some kind of like actual physical damage, right? In fact, all the other ones that all the other ones that I've seen caught fires usually when they strike something and they have some mechanical damage to the battery, so actual structural damage, and the batteries, then they poke through the casing and then they actually damage the cells. 1 in 400,000 or 500,000, but it's under investigation. Yeah, 500 cycles. I want use, okay, for DIY solar generator around 2 kilowatts with no BMS. The search will be, okay. What is the name of your USB power bank? What is the name of my USB power bank? And would it be better to build a power bank for the cell phone? Hell, from Sydney. I wonder which power bank. So I just did a video about this power bank. Oh, and then I just changed the battery on this guy. Man, HTC. What? They're terrible phones. I mean, not terrible phones. They're built like really hard to do anything to change the battery. The hell was that? There was a pop in here, and I don't know what it was. Let me just check. You ever wonder what people think about our electric conversions? See the reactions on this 70s Porsche 911.
The one that, yeah, that's the one from me, yeah, like.
All right, we're back. Yeah, here's what happened. I heard a pop, and my solar generator's there, and it clearly came from that area, and I thought, what in the world's happening there? So I just went and opened it, and the charger that I have, I double-sided sticking it up to the top, to the lid, and the tape, with time, it came loose. And just right now, it just fell and it hit on the thing. So that was the pop that you heard. But I was like, why is that thing making a pop? It's a battery. It's a box full of batteries. Let me check it out. And yeah, so there's no big deal. It's just the thing that the tape worked itself loose. But I had to make sure it wasn't gonna pop and stuff. This is the power pack that I just made a video about. And I realized I missed a couple of things. I didn't actually say the batteries that I put in there, but those batteries that I ended up putting on here were much more capacity than the ones that I took out. And I did test it, the back ones, and I think those are actually like 3100 milliamp hours. But then I disconnected it because I started working on that thing, and so I have to retest them again. But anyways, this is a OmniCharge. This is my USB thing. Is it better to build one or is it better to buy one? I mean, it's always better to build stuff, right? But I don't know. Sometimes it's really hard to achieve what people have done commercially. In this case, you can build something cheaper that does the same thing as this one. I don't know if you can do it in such a small package because this is a custom-made AC inverter that I don't know if you need, but I think, you know, if it's this small, then it's okay. You're like, okay, I'll carry it there just in case that I need it. But you know, all the other power packs that we have don't have it, and we're, you know, perfectly fine with them. Like this Anchor here, right? This Anchor here doesn't have an AC, right? It's just got USB things, and we're good. So it just depends your usage. But yeah, you can definitely build one for cheaper. You can have more fun and stuff. And let's see, are we live? Yes, we're live, right? There we go. How do you find a reputable 18650 provider? I've returned a lot of bad cells. It's hard. I mean, yeah, it's hard. Like new cells, yeah, you're always gambling. That's why we're still kind of using used cells, right? Like from battery hookups, you know, that guy goes into a lot of trouble of, you know, cracking open all those things, testing them, and you know, so yeah, there's not a lot of guys like him. There's a lot of people that are selling batteries, but you're taking a gamble. Yeah, I gotta agree with you. It's hard. Have you solved it have you cycled it to solve the capacity percentage? So I think it doesn't work. I think I'm gonna have to take it apart and manually change the thing. Because look, it says this 81. It was at 100%, but the battery icon on this side still showed like half. So I think it's out of sync. I think I discharged it all the way through, and then I charged it all the way up, and I think it didn't fix it. Maybe what I can do is test the capacity that comes out, and if it's lower, then that's how I know. Because right now the only indication is that there's two icons. There's a percentage with a little icon, and there's like another little icon, and I don't know which one is right. So yeah, I don't even know if it's off, but it seems like it's off. Yeah, I got it working. Yeah, I mean, it was working. The OmniCharge has some errors. I have one, and sometimes it's just not charging properly. Oh, okay. Consider buying one like that before. I decided to make my own with more batteries and bigger inverter. There you go. Would that power a mini fridge? If only if the mini fridge will run under 100 watts. Do you think Amazon has that 2000 watt 24 volt inverter for better than Kodiak back in stock? Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked. I didn't even know if it was out of stock. You know, it doesn't surprise me because it's a very popular video. People have been buying it. Yeah, probably Amazon's probably. It would probably take them a while, but it probably should be. I don't know. I haven't tried checking. I've tried going elsewhere. Thinking about getting that inverter, power bank, and doubling the cells to power a CPAP. So yeah, check your CPAP. Make sure it's if you're gonna use it, power it using the AC thing, is make sure it's less than 100 watts. Or make sure. So the bigger version of this, it actually, you can adjust the voltage of the DC output a jack. So you could adjust the voltage you want it set at. And so it might be easier to run like straight DC from here to whatever machine you're doing, like your CPAP machine, and that could be doable. And it's of course the bigger one, so I think it's got more capacity than this one. Can you recommend a cheap BMS for 12-volt vehicle use? Not really. That's, I don't understand what do you need. What do you mean vehicle use? 12 volts. So 12 volts, you know, you can get 12 volts using LiPo 4, right? Lithium iron phosphate. Yeah, and I have a video where I show how to make a 4S. And I have links to the BMS that I use there, so you can look at that video. It was not too long ago, I think, you know, a couple months ago or something like that. Why do people show up and dislike? Why did they click the live stream? Yeah, I think I have a lot of haters. I think I have a lot of people that don't like me for whatever reason. There's a lot of people that know stuff more than me, maybe, and then they're like, this guy doesn't know anything, he's using resistor legs, he's not proper, you know, that guy, you know. There's a lot of haters, there's a lot of people, and you know, I don't know, maybe there's some people that have legitimate criticism, and I'm not good enough to accept it or something, and so they're like, you know. I don't know. But I have some very dedicated haters, let me tell you. It's like, almost every video they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to dislike this guy. Is YouTube my only job? Yeah, these days it is. That's what I'm doing 100%. I mean, I'm doing a bunch of things, but they're all related for YouTube, right? They're all you know, geared for that. Many CPAP will run straight on DC, no inverter needed. Yeah, so that would probably be the best way, but you would need the bigger version of this that you can adjust it. I mean, I guess you could also do this. So this one says DC in and out, but it doesn't have a voltage. So maybe even this one you can set it. I guess I gotta read the... Maybe I have to read the instructions, the manual. You never contacted me for BMS. No, I don't think so. Was I supposed to? Let's see. I'm interested. 48 volts, 100 amp hour lithium ion battery bank. There you go. Buy one. Sounds like you're talking about lithium iron phosphate. Those come in 100 amp hour bricks, and you would need what? 8? Yeah, 8 of them. 8 of these 100 amp hour bricks will make you 48 volts, and then you should be able to get going. Let me know if you need anything from China. Been here 16 years. Got to get back to work. Francisco, I do need a lot of stuff from China. I need to find someone that will solder all these PCBs for us. Yeah. Send me an email, Francisco. Maybe you can help me find someone. Because it's hard without going over there. I mean, I haven't really tried that hard, right? Because I'm super busy still, like, again, tackling the design. I still don't have a cover for those. I think the cover that comes with those boxes is too expensive. It's like half the price is just the cover. So what I want to do is I want to use 2 of those boxes and then make a cover for that, because 2 of those boxes is more like the size that I want, right? It allows you to do about 1,000 cells, right, or about 10 kilowatt hours, right? So yeah, I want to make that, and so I know it in my mind that I need it, and that I should start looking for someone that's gonna make that, and you know what's gonna be the best way, but I still just haven't had time to really dig in there. One thing at a time, I guess, right? I get 1860 laptop batteries for 30 cents each module, so salvaging batteries instead of buy is way better for me. My 12S 4S 200p Powerwall has been running off so-called bad cells for months now. There you go, the smooth goat. How do you get those packs so cheap? I mean, a lot of people get them for free, but a lot of people, yeah, it's quite intensive work, right? We're always kind of trying to get to the less work, less intensive ways of finding cells. When they dislike, just tell them, cool story, bro, shoot a video. Yes. Imagine a life where you're so lame that you subscribe to someone so that when you get notified their streams, you just dislike them. That is indeed sad. I think it does happen. I had some haters that were very, very dedicated. Like, there's one guy, I kept banning him. I was like, he would argue with me, right? Like, argue. You're this, you're that, you know. And then I would be like, wait a minute. This sounds like so-and-so, you know? And then I would like go and check or whatever. And somehow like he would say things and arguments that were like similar. And so I started recognizing them. And I probably banned this one guy like 7 times. He would make up like a different name, a different account, and then he would come back just to hate on me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. And then he went away. I guess that's it. I stopped engaging him. So then, you know, I guess he wouldn't get his fix anymore. So then he just got bored and moved away probably to hate on someone else. I'm planning to make a 13S 6P battery pack for my electric longboard. Wow, 13S 6P. That's going to be a giant battery. I'm testing used batteries with the Litokala Leaf 500. I am wondering which cells I should keep for my project. Well, I mean, it's just a giant pack. You should probably keep like the biggest, strongest cells, and then try to make that battery pack smaller. I mean, that's a lot of batteries, right? What is that? My battery pack is big, and I have 50 cells. And I thought, oh my God, this is ridiculous. You're going with 13S times 6. You're talking about 78 cells. That's going to be a monster of a skateboard there. Yeah. With that many cells, you don't need to keep the best. Even weak cells will work because there's so many. That battery pack is going to be so big that, yeah, it's going to have enough power to push you around. I've been doing the battery thing for years, but you inspired me to start making videos. Oh, there you go. Definitely see the challenge. And it's not easy. You do a good job, man. Thank you, Crimp Daddy. Okay, let's see here. Island times. Why did instruction manuals suddenly get really small? To the point I need a magnifying glass to read them. It used to be A5 size, and I was like postage stamp. Yeah, well, it's like the last step in the product, right? It's like, and they're like, well, we don't want to add. Yeah, I don't know. Well, probably because most of us just throw them away. We're just like, you know, they're like, oh, are we going to spend money on this thing that everybody's going to throw away? I don't know. I have designed a proper BMS. It could come in use for your system. I posted some pictures linked to you in the video. You asked if someone has designed a BMS. Contact me if you feel like. Oh, I see. Yeah. Send me an email because I get so many that I don't know where you posted a thing. So yeah, it's gonna be really easy for me to miss it. Send me an email, jhjack35, and then, you know, I'll look through it, and then hopefully, yeah, you never know. Maybe you have the BMS that we all need. Let's see. Have you checked out that Dominic PLB40? it make a good DIY project? No, what is that? David Horton? I don't know what it is. Thanks to you, I buy so much. What are you buying? The smooth code. I have 12-volt lithium motorcycle battery, and I bought it and let it sit for 1 year. There was a button on it to press that says it's fully charged, but today I found it, although it turns on the lights on my bike, it won't even turn it over. Yeah, it might be low. So if it's got, the problem is that for any kind of system that's supposed to keep the battery going, it uses energy. And so even, you know, even if it uses a tiny bit of energy over the course of an entire year, it's gonna deplete that battery. And these systems are not smart enough to just turn themselves off for some reason. I don't know why that's so hard. But most often than not, they will break the batteries. They will take them down to zero, and then that's where the batteries get damaged. And so the system that is designed to save the batteries are the ones that kill the batteries. It's kind of ironic. If Jehu... Oh, where is your fire extinguisher? I cannot see one in the room, just in case something goes wrong. Yeah, I have one right on the other side of that door there. Yeah, there's fire extinguishers here. Where do you get those yellow connectors? China, AliExpress, or Amazon. I mean, if you don't want to wait a long time. I just ordered a bunch of these connectors from China, and it took like the guy almost like 2 weeks to fulfill the order. So much that I had like contacted another vendor to try to get them, because it didn't seem like that's the guy that's gonna do it, right? Yeah, so if you don't want to wait that long, you can just get them on Amazon. Then those, you know, usually come quick. Can you use normal 12-volt charger not made for lithium to charge if it's 12 volts? Depends. I mean, depends what kind of battery, depends what size. You know, usually lithium batteries are not 12 volt unless they're lithium iron phosphate. And you could use one for lead acid, but it's not going to be the best way to charge that battery. And so, you know, it's not going to kill the battery, but it's going to damage it with time and stuff, you know. People argue and take crap because they can. No rhyme or reason for it. They have nothing better to do. One hater, thousands of love. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I should like not pay attention to them because they're definitely in the minority. Talk about a cross-country longboard. Yeah, that's gonna be a board that goes like 50 miles of range, 60. I'm doing a 13S7P. That's crazy. I'm a human BMS. I can shut it down. Thanks for the advice. I have a nice 3S16P pack to run small things with a 700 watt inverter and charge with solar. There you go. Yellow connectors are called XT60s. Find them on Amazon for $8. 10 on Amazon for $8. Yes. Here's the trick though. You could find the connectors really cheap, but you could also find the little pigtails also really cheap. Well, I don't know about cheap. They're like $6 or something. I mean, it depends if you like soldering. I don't like soldering that much, right? Like, I'm actually selling the kits. Right now, I'm selling the kits with just the cables so that you could solder them. Just because I haven't been able to get the little pigtails from China. But eventually, I'm going to get the pigtails from China because these are big, chunky, 10 gauge cables. And so it takes a while to solder these. You have to, like, hold your thing there, and it has to heat up. And they're a pain to and so if you're going to do a bunch of them, just order the little pigtail. It's worth it. I tell you, it's worth it. So anyways, yeah, when you get the kit with the BMS, it's going to come with all stuff and the pigtails there so that you put it on the 2 holes and then you solder it. You're done. You don't have to mess around with soldering these ends here. And those are also available on Amazon. So get those. How much for 1,000 18650 batteries? So Tom just sent me a bunch of pictures. Let's see here. He has a lot of batteries right now. And he said he's gonna sell some batteries really cheap coming forward here. And basically just market, let's see, is that it? No, let's see. No, that's not it. Oh, here we go. What did he say? Yeah, he said some of them are gonna be like 50 cents a cell. And he's got a bunch of new ones. And he's got a bunch of packs. Yeah, he even has like some of these Sanyo new ones, which are, I don't know, they're usually not that good because they were the heaters, but these are brand new. I don't know, I like them because they're red and I have this picture with the red thing, so I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, yeah, some really cheap. Are those going to be brand new? I don't know. No, I don't think they're going to be brand new. I think they're going to be like power tool cells, and they're going to be, he says he's going to price them for about 50 cents a cell. So that's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, so what would that be? 50 cents a cell for 1,000 cells. Let's do the maths here. 0.50 times 1,000, about 500 bucks. Look at that. Let's see here. Was thinking of making a 12-volt battery for the back of my truck for camping and such. One that could be connected and charged with the solar panel. Any battery type configuration you would recommend? 12-volt battery for your truck? Yeah, do lithium iron phosphate. In fact, do those red ones, the headways. Tom just got a bunch of those. And so I'm thinking of doing a video where I show you how to make a 12-volt battery with those, like something like in a big case, you know, that you can use, I don't know, like 10 of them or 14 of them. What? So I have to use 4, so 4, 8, 6, maybe 16 of those. That would be right. So 16? That would be 4 times 8, about 32 amp hours times 12 volts. Wow, that's still such a tiny little battery. 384 watt hours? Maybe more. Maybe like 32 of those cells. Maybe put it in a box, put the big chunks. Yeah. Yeah, that's a project that's coming up because he's got so many of those things. So I think it's worth it to like spend some time figuring how to build one of those things. But yeah, you should probably use that because the thing about those is that transfers really well for the 12 volt, and so if you ever need to charge it using your just using your car's electrical system, you know, you might even be like able to just plug it straight into your, well, yeah, maybe you could, if the voltages weren't too off, you should be able to just plug it straight into your cigarette lighter and then just have the alternator charge your battery. I think the cigarette lighters are rated about 10 amps or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be the proper way to do it. You still have to use like a proper charger for it. But in a pinch, you could do it that way. Let's see here. Oh my God, it just jumped. If it's lithium cobalt phosphate, which are the usual ones, you need 12.6 volt charger to charge it. Please do live stream on Thursday, on Friday. Let me find the lithium charger and tell you what it is. What is the name of them? Yellow connectors. Yeah, XT60s, XT90s, XT30s. There's different sizes. I'm using the XT90s for this because since I'm recommending 50 amps, That's too close to the 60 of the XT60. So the 90 should be able to, handle that, continuously, no problem. Can you change live stream to Saturday? Yeah, one day. I mean, not, regularly, but yeah, one of these days we could do like a weekend live stream or some other day live stream. Yeah, it's just the crazy thing is I'm really busy. I'm trying to get all this stuff done, and the day does not have enough hours to get stuff done. I got 20 of the 26 650s from battery hookup. Wondering if spot welder is required, or can I reasonably safely solder the nickel strips? I mean, you could solder. There's a bunch of people that are going to tell you no, you can't. It's not safe. It's more dangerous. I guess it is. Could be more dangerous. Depends how good you are at soldering, if you can solder it quickly or whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's up to you. You could solder them if you're neat. I've seen some jobs. I've seen some people where like they're terrible at soldering. It makes me cringe. And so maybe that's the reason why I should like stop telling people that they can be soldered. But that's not entirely true. The truth is that you could solder batteries. Is there a risk involved? Yes, there is. If you overheat them too much, the isolator like piece of plastic that separates the negative from the positive could be compromised, and you could, right? So why would you want to take the chance if there's technology? But the thing is that you would need a good spot welder, right? And the cheapy ones, like the ones that I have there that are $100, just they don't work with good quality nickel, right? Or thick stuff. So yeah, if you get a good spot welder, and then you should be able to spot weld them. If not, just use solder, but don't overheat them too much. Let's see. Fake XT60s work okay unless it's high load or heat issue. Yeah, there are some really low quality connectors. You gotta watch out for those. How big of a battery pack would I need to push my 5,300 pound Toyota truck? I'd like to go around 400 miles with the Warp 9. Ooh, 400 miles. I'd say a truck. Yeah, I'd say the best you're gonna do is about 400 watts per mile. So you want 400. So you'd have to do 400 miles. Then you have to multiply that by 400 watts. And that brings you to about 160,000 or 160 kilowatt hours. About twice the battery in a Model S. 85 kilowatt, right? So yeah, you need about 100. What did I say? 160,000. 160 kilowatt hours. It's a big battery pack. It's probably gonna make your 5,300 pound truck more. And by the way, that Warp 9 is not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to get a 13 inch or something, a 11 inch, a Warp 11, maybe 2 Warp 11s. I mean, maybe not 2, maybe 2 Warp 9s will work. Jay, you have an AccuCell 6. 80 watt charger to charge my lithium motorcycle battery, but even the connectors are not right. I'm not sure how to use the charger or what cables I need. I don't know any of that equipment. Sorry, I can't really help you because I don't even understand what the problem is. You say you have different connectors for the chargers. How does fakeness come to play with fake connectors? Well, no, so it's not fake connectors. I think a more accurate description of this stuff is low quality connectors. So, there's the material of the connector. They have these little pins in there that are supposed to like go on the other one, and they're supposed to like have the contact area, first of all, they have to be like this gold plated, because then that's low resistance materials and stuff. Yeah, if you have some that like, you know, that the tolerances are loose on it, then that means you're gonna have loose connections, and it's gonna create, you know, high impedance. Yeah, it could mean, yeah, it could be the whole thing. Cheap connectors, not necessarily fake, but just low quality. You gotta make sure you get good connectors. You know, I just love randomly checking YouTube and finding a live stream from Jehu. Thank you for doing, and I have fun listening to you. Thank you, Herbert. Oh, there we go. Battery hookups, Island Times. Let's see. I use the fake ones for BS connections, low amp loads, and stuff like that. Longboard, I am planning on 13S because I need power. I needed to output 30 amp continuous and 60 to 90 amps at peak, so it choose the best cells. What kind of motors are you using? Why do you need 90 amps? 30 amp continuous? Look, 30 amp continuous, let's see. I don't know if you actually need that. 30 amp, wait, so you're doing 13S. 13 times, let's take the nominal voltage, right? 3.7. So you're doing it's a 48 volt system, and you're saying you need 30 amp continuous? Yeah, you don't need 1.4 kilowatt of continuous power. There's no way. Well, I guess you could design a system that's that inefficient. Maybe like if you're gonna use like big tires, you know. Maybe if you're like maybe it's like an off-road thing, it could use that much power. But usually, like a regular skateboard, no, you won't need that much power to, you know, just to move a 200-pound person around. There's way too much power. Yeah, you'd have to find clever ways to like make your thing so inefficient that you're pulling 30 amp continuous out of it. But in one way is to be like use big wheels, right? Or instead of like traveling on the road, you're off road. That's one way to do it. So maybe that's what you're building. Does battery hookup ship to countries like New Zealand? Yeah, they ship to a bunch of countries around the world. I don't know if specifically if they do New Zealand, but I think you can go in there and try to get like a shipping quote when you put something on the car, and it should be able to tell you right away, I think. How much would you charge for a 36 volt 2000 20,000 milliamp hour battery for a skateboard? What? How much would you charge? Would your charge? What does that mean? I don't understand what it means. How much do you want to charge it? How much would I charge to make a battery? I don't do that. I don't build batteries for people. Like, I build batteries for me, and I'm building so many that I don't even have time to build them enough for me. So you need a good BMS system to charge at a rate of 1080 watts of energy to 6 kilowatt battery packs. Need a good soldering iron to solder though. Yes, you need that. That would be a good thing. Can you use an induction motor as a generator to power a house? Connect the motor to a step-up transformer to amplify the power, and then to a step-down transformer. Yes, you can. But you'd have to have a controller, right? You'd have to have a variable frequency. What is it called? A variable frequency whatever controller, and only then can you do that. but you can't. It probably won't be the best way. I mean, no, there you could do it. It's just, it's not as simple as that, and you probably don't want to use transformers. You want to use like switching stuff, right? Because you have to convert all of that stuff, especially the speed. So, what are you trying to do? A generator to power a house? So, how are you powering the generator? If it's like a wind generator, then that's all over the place. So, yeah, you could do it. It's just, I don't know what kind of equipment. I don't know. Like, there's a lot more variables that you need to figure out. 160 kilowatt hours, a truckload of batteries. Yes and no. If you the new type of cells. No, I remember the Rivian, the Rivian car that I pre-ordered. Let me check that. This guy here, Rivian. This is the SUV version. Okay, this one is gonna come with 180 kilowatt battery pack, right? So, yeah, the modern batteries, you could do them, and and it's gonna have like room for 7 passengers, and it's gonna have about 400 miles of range. So it can be done. It's just not gonna be cheap. This is gonna be like a 70. This is probably gonna be more like $100,000 car by the end, right? I don't know. We'll find out. We still don't know the prices of these guys, and that's for the future. That's like late 2022, I think. That's when these are scheduled to come out. Who knows where I'm gonna be there? All I know is that I have a chance to buy one when it comes out. Like, it'll be one of the first ones. If I have the money, then we'll do it. If we don't, then I just, no big deal. The inverter for the Better Than Kodiak is back in stock. Price is $10 more. Look at that. They raised the price because they know it's in high demand. It's bastards. That's what they'll do. Real XT90s are made by Amas for HTX. Anything else could be a problem. There you go. How many batteries for a 96 volt 41 amps? 96, yeah, so that's, it just depends which batteries you're talking about. But I mean, I have a 96 volt system in my car, but I use 30 cells in series for 111 nominal voltage. So yeah, it just depends what system. What do you mean 96? Usually 96 is a number that was there for lead acid batteries. And that would be what? 96, that would be so 8 cells, right? 8 batteries, 8 12 volt batteries. For lithium, it's going to be different. Lithium iron phosphate is going to be one number, and lithium cobalt oxide is going to be a different one. South Africa, there we go. Very old frequency drive, there we go, that's what I was trying to say. I want to visit South Africa. Me too, I want to go there. Shipping costs from you to Bangladesh, a little expensive. I was trying to test order about $80 where shipping costs count to $66. Yeah, that's where I'm running into. Like, people are buying like these little PCB kits for like $100, and sometimes it's costing about $60 to ship them. Depending where it's at. I think probably like South Africa is about that. Australia, it's another one where it's like really expensive. I think it was like $100 to ship a box that with $200 worth of like PCBs and gear. What was it? About 10 pounds, less than 10 pounds. My electric car conversion is 72 volt system, and I'm using 24S BMS while having a 100 watt solar panel trickling the light bulb for help with the leakage voltage of the battery bank. Oh, maybe. What leakage? You have leakage? spinning more only by BMS. There we go. So I guess BMS is the ones that make those, and everything else is fake. When is the DIY solar power generator code replacement, a schematic, and the add-on power pack being released? I bought everything, and I'm excited to wear it all up. Thanks in advance. Yes, any day now. I have everything. Oh, okay. Here's what happened. I might have to redo the relays. They got stuck. So I went to turn off the unit. I was testing it, doing this stuff, running, and then it got stuck. So they welded shut together, right? And I'm thinking is that I don't have a pre-charge circuit on it. And so when I go to turn it on, right? Well, and then they use energy, so I usually don't leave it on, right? Because in order to leave those on, that means they're using energy, right? And so if I leave the unit on, then the batteries are gonna fail just for them sitting there, right? So what I do is I turn it off, and so the relays disconnect and they're not use energy. But as soon as I come back and I want to turn it on, I engage the relays, and what happens is a big spark happens, because then it has to, there's inrush current, right, for the capacitor banks. And so I think after a while they get welded shut. And so in order to fix that, I'd have to like devise some kind of pre-charge circuit, right? Either, I mean, it could be simple one. It could be just like a little resistor, right, that goes across the thing. But I need to do that. Or maybe I just have to use like a beefier relay so that it can handle that better and it doesn't do it so often. So, I mean, I haven't even used that much, and I already have welded relays. And yeah, so I have to figure out how to fix that, right? So I'm still kind of designing it. Turns out I'm finding more and more issues with it, so I'm like having to figure out how to do it. But yeah, it is. I guess there's more to it than that. And as soon as I figure that out, then I'm gonna end up doing that video. Start saving to buy the 100,000 Rivian. Yep, that's the plan. Chinese now have a 4-passenger 100% EV 150-mile range, price around $9,000 to $10,000 US. Your thoughts? It's probably a really small car. You probably cramping those passengers in there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's possible. You can do it. It's just, I bet you it's a lot different than what our cars look like. We are kind of snooty when it comes to cars. We want like big giant thing with leather interiors and separate AC zones and heated seats, all that nonsense. I bet you this is not that, right? But yeah, you could make it. You can make a $9,000-$10,000 car. It's probably more like a motorcycle if it's for that much. Either that, or they figure the scale, the economies of scale, right? So if they're building it like it's gonna be a wide thing, and that's how they're getting that price. 150-mile range, yeah. BMS are recommended for all lithium batteries. Yep, that's true. So your girl's gonna have a Tesla before? Yes, we're gonna pick it up on Wednesday. We still have to input the insurance and the financing stuff, but yeah, we have a VIN number, and I think we're about to get it. And I was thinking, why not get a used Model S? Because you get so much more car for about the same price, right? Just because someone else got the chance to use it when it was brand new. But no, she doesn't want a big car, so I think we're gonna stick with the Model 3. And then after watching tonight's or today's live stream, yeah, you get to see that it's a pretty amazing computer that's got in there. They developed it from the ground up. They were working on it for years, and they started putting it on there 10 days ago. This brand new one that they have in there 10 days ago. So it's going to be an in the car that we get, right? And so it's like miles ahead, I think, than anything else that anyone else is doing. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a fully autonomous car by the end of this year, according to Elon. So maybe like spring of next year, realistically. But he says all the hardware is there. Now they're just working on the regulation, and they're working on the software side, right? It's the software's learning, right? Because it's yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be autonomous one day. So I don't know. Maybe yeah, it's a good thing to get that one version, the newest car that you can get. And of course, that's all gonna transfer to all the new line. They're gonna revamp the new line. And I didn't finish watching the live stream, so I don't know if they announced like how they're gonna revamp the Model S and X line of stuff. But it doesn't matter because those cars are too expensive. I can't afford them, so that's okay. Are you gonna release the Gerber file for the BMS board? Yes, we are, but we're actually changing those to like a free software, because right now you'd have to use what is the file? Eagle, right? So those files are for Eagle, and we want to make them available so that everyone can change them. And Eagle is not a free software. You'd have to pay either a monthly subscription or pay the license that is really expensive or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of like not really open source, right? So we're gonna change them over to something that's like free, and it's gonna take time because I'm not the one that's doing it. It's it's Justin is the one that can do it, and he kind of said that it wouldn't take too long according to what he was looking at or whatever. But yeah, once we do that, then we're gonna make all stuff available so that everyone you can download the Gerber, or you can and the actual working file so that you can modify them and stuff. That's coming up. Use a cheap light bulb in series to precharge the capacitor bank. That way it doesn't weld your contactors on your relay, or contacts in your relay. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. The Gerber file on its page. Yeah, so most of the Gerber files are on the page, but not for the one for the BMS. I haven't put that one up there because I actually still modified it this last version, this last batch of boards that I order. You're nothing like Jehu from the Bible. How do you know? How'd you know that Jehu wasn't like me? I don't know. Maybe he was. Oh my God. I literally just got my PCB using your Gerber file today. Thanks for having it open source. There you go. So Gold 63, yeah, downloaded the Gerbers that are available, and he downloaded. Random question: what would be an ideal EV setup for a Honda del Sol? What would be an ideal EV setup? I say probably similar to what I have on my bus. It would do really great on a Del Sol. An AC50 with, I don't know, with 30 kilowatt hours of battery. Yeah, it would be tough to probably fit 50 kilowatt hours in there because it's a tiny car. Unless you're using like new stuff, like maybe Model S, 5. So yeah, so 5 Model S modules would be 25 kilowatt hours, right? Yeah, so that would fit in there. Yeah, if you use some of the newer chemistries, some of the newer modules from the EVs, then you can probably get the energy density enough to put in there like 25, 30 kilowatt hours. And that's good for like 100 miles of range. Have you seen the newer electric truck, the Atlas XT? No, I have not. I think I saw a story on it, but I haven't looked into it. Oh, there we go. Cruz Letras says That's oh man, it just changed. I don't know where it went. Okay, it just oh, here we go. Video of self-driving Tesla. There you go. There's a video there. Do you make fun of Elon? Oh, do not make. Hey Jake, do not make fun of Elon. He has alien powers. Tesla has to statistically prove that autonomous vehicles do not kill or wreck the car any more than humans to get approval, which I think is going to be really easy to do because we're terrible drivers and we're becoming worse and worse as time goes by. More of us are more distracted. More of us are on our phones. More of us are eating, talking on the phone. So yeah, we're actually terrible drivers. There's too many of us that crash. And I think these computers, these are like supercomputers they're putting in these cars. They're going to be able to do it. Especially now they're learning. So there's like billions and billions of miles of training for this system that is happening, right? So yeah, it's gonna happen pretty soon actually. He's very confident when he talks about it. Some tells me that he can already prove that his current system is safer than humans. I think it's just gonna take a few months for him to make the PowerPoint presentation or make collect the data in a way that and regulators will be able to. That he will be able to convince regulators, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. The tech is there. It's like Eagle is free as long as you use max 2-layer PCB and limited size. Yeah, I think so. I downloaded it, but I think it's not very useful. I think that the restrictions are just basically can't really build anything useful. I don't think. Yeah, so yeah, I know that we'd have to buy like licenses and stuff to do some of the stuff that we wanted to do and stuff. So it's just better if we just use like an open source, like a free software that's available. There's so many of them available now that I think it's a good idea. Dan the Driving Man. There you go. Thank you for the $2. Google Dan the Driving Man. Honda Del Sol is my favorite car. How much energy does the Tesla will produce in 1 hour? That's not that question doesn't make sense. The Tesla Wall 2 version 2 stores 14 point something kilowatt hours. I think it can deliver, I don't know, I don't remember the specs, but at one point it was 2,000 watts, I think. That was the continuous output, right? So at one point it could do 2 kilowatts in 1 hour. 2 kilowatt hours. And I think the new one is faster. I don't know at the top of my head. But I think that would answer that question as best as I could. How much power do you use per month in the summer? About 50 to 60 kilowatt hours per day. Yeah, that's what I average in the summer because we have hot summers here, and I have central air, right? So it uses about 30 kilowatt hours a day when you're running it all day and you want to run it all day because it's really hot. You should switch to KitKat. Yeah, so I think that's the one that he was considering using to change it to. I saw iRobot self-driving cars didn't work so well for Will Smith. Been following you for a long time. Please support his work. Dan the Driving Man, St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you, man. I live in Chandler, Arizona. Basically, the test bed for the autonomous cars. They are seriously safe, but it's the 1% of odd driving cases that they are trying to overcome. Yeah, that's true. It's so weird. Like there's so many variables, I think, right? And that's what they were explaining today, that there's such weird things that the computer has to learn. And they were showing like weird things that if you were like to tell you like, okay, what, like, can you have semi trucks, one, stack on top of another one, stacking another one, top on another one, stack, and they're like, no, that's not a thing that happens. And then he shows a picture, and there's one semi truck pulling like another 5 or 6 semi trucks stacked on top of each other, and he's like, oh, I guess that's a thing that happens. And then you can go down the rabbit hole and things that are weird that happen every day in our roads that you have to program these computers to recognize and see like, oh, that's a normal thing that would happen. Don't freak out. It looks like 6 semi trucks tied together going down the road. Like, really, that can't be. It's like, yes, it can be. So it's gonna take a little while for that stuff for them to get through all those weird scenarios. Do you recommend any particular solar panel? No, I don't. So I don't know enough about the actual tech. I don't have a lot of experience. I installed a little solar panel up on my roof, and it's working for me, but it's not the best. It wouldn't be the best one for anyone. I know people are using the big solar panels, like 72 cell ones, right? Because those are like the cheaper ones and the more efficient ones. I don't know, if they would be the best ones or the most economic ones or whatever, but I know that's where the industry is going, and they're using those. As far as brands, I don't know. We saw Bream use Canadian Solar because they were cheap, and they seem to be working fine. Types, monocrystalline. Yeah, you probably want to do mono because those are the most efficient ones. What brand? I've been holding off because I'm not sure which brands are good and affordable. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So yeah, I don't really know. Don't have like hands-on experience with the solar stuff, right? When calculating resistor values for the high power LEDs, does the BF voltage drop ever change as the current increases? How to calculate? So data sheet lists BF at 1 current only. I don't know. Maybe someone else can answer that question. How many Powerwalls do you have? So I have a ton of battery systems here. A lot of them are being used. I only have one of these boxes that's 100% on all the time. The other ones are test. I'm always changing them. They've had several types of batteries. I've done several types of videos on them and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm always experimenting. I probably, I get excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put 6 boxes in there. Make a huge, 30, 40 kilowatt hour battery Powerwall in there, right? And I thought, I'm just gonna want to change it right away, like when the new modules come on, and right, like I don't think I can have a permanent Powerwall because my job is to find the newer ways of doing things, right? So yeah, I think I'm gonna have one that I have always on. It's gonna be bigger than the one that's there, and then a percentage of the rest is going to be, for me to play with, right? It's for me to exchange and test new batteries and stuff. All right, I think we've run out of questions. You guys are, either I cut up, and it's 9:49, so we've been at it for almost 2 hours already. I think we're gonna call it quits here. Yeah, stay tuned. What's gonna happen? I think I'm gonna go down to EV West one of these days, do a few videos with them. Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep working on this thing. I really want to finish this thing so I can move on and do some other projects. I can move on to cost optimization, designing sourcing the cover, right? And then making the videos so that with instructions, and then optimizing the kits, because the kits right now don't reflect, they don't have everything that you need to do. It's just kind of a starting point that can get you going, right? But up until today, I don't even have, finally I got the first package with the isolators on the bottom, right? So someone posted in our Facebook group that they accidentally put one of these, you know, PCB projects, the kit on top of a surface, you know, metallic surface, and then they like shorted it out. It's because the standoffs are electrified. That's how you do. So, you know, it's like they're like, what are you using to make sure this doesn't happen? I'm like, oh, I'm using plastics, you know, standoffs at the bottom so that they're isolated, right? They're isolators. But I hadn't been able to get those in large numbers to include them in all the kits. Just today they arrived, a box arrived, right? And I've had several failed attempts at getting them from several sellers for some reason. I don't know why. So I think moving forward, I'm gonna start shipping at least 4 of those per kit, so that you'd have, you know, 4 of those, so that you can isolate your builds and they won't short out. Yeah, and then the kits are gonna morph into more useful with like the right amount of parts and kits and bolts and little cables and stuff, right? And so as much as I can, so that they're more useful and with more instructions and more guidance into making a thing. Of course, you know, some of you guys don't need that. Some of you guys just are happy to use the main core of the thing, and you know, you guys are talented enough to come up with all the other pieces that are kind of missing right now. But that's what I'm doing lately. Just need to kind of get that system done so we can build some cool projects. I want to see Powerwalls. There's still not a lot of full Powerwalls working using this thing, and you know, some of the critics are using that as a reason to say that our system doesn't work, because, well, where are they? You know, if they were useful, they would be walls working, you know. The self-driving car would be great for seniors like my father-in-law at 85 years old. He's not confident in his driving skills anymore. Yeah, we don't let my dad drive, not for a few years. He's like 85, something like that. Yeah. But imagine, at the end of this year, we probably could get him a car, and he probably could go to the store, because now you can go to point to point. He could probably be like, okay, take me here to this store. Boom, the car just drives itself. You know? Let's see. You can have a white erase board so you can track of your projects. Thanks for the live chat. What about wireless charging for lithium batteries? Is that possible? Yeah, it is possible. I don't know why you would want it. Just hook them up. Yeah, it's very inefficient, and then I don't know, you'd just be creating a bunch of electromagnetic things in your house that are not necessary. Was hired by Elon Musk at Tesla. They are working on it. There you go. All right, guys, let's call it quits here. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for all the likes. Oh, everyone that's watching this, click the like button right there. Not the down button, the up button. Also, click the share. If you guys have other like Facebook accounts, if you have, where else can you share this? I don't know where else. All I can think is like Twitter. Can you share on Instagram? You can't even share on Instagram. Facebook and Twitter, I guess these are the only ones that you can probably share it. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, join our Facebook group, Jehu's Powerwall, DIY Powerwall group in Facebook. That's our group. We share all our projects over there. There's a ton of stuff happening. About 15,000, almost 16,000 members over there. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that is being developed over there. I think that's where we're going to start seeing the big, like, you know, compelling projects as we move forward. You know, there's a lot of people that are getting their PCB kits right now and they're building their stuff. There's a lot of them, and so it's gonna start getting pretty interesting from here on and stuff. And so yeah, if you guys want to check that out, click the button. Wait, I don't have a thing. Facebook. Let's see if I can get the thing. Here we go. Unless here we go. Woo! My computer was really slow when I have all this stuff running. Here we go. I hope that works. Yeah. Error. Edit. Try again. Come on. It doesn't even let me. I think it's got too much. Bookmarks? Okay, so then here we go. It said that it had a mistake for that thing. Bam! There we go. That one worked. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to join our group over there, that's how you do it. Also coming up, I'm gonna have a thing where I play with the inverters. So if you're looking to do an inverter, it's a grid tie inverter, unfortunately, so it doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for a lot of people, and I'm showing you how to use it. You know, so it's a good thing. There's still plenty of them available, and so yeah. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Have a good night. We'll see you next week if I don't make a video this week, but probably I'm gonna try to make a video. All right. Thank you guys. Bye. We'll see you. You ever wonder what people think about our electric conversions? See the reactions on this 70s Porsche 911.
The one that, yeah, dash. The one from me, yeah. Yeah, like.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Fuck yes. In a Porsche. Fuck yes.
Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Breen with EV West, and 7 years ago we started our little electric car speed shop so we could help people make classic cars go faster. At the time we were looking around for venues, and there wasn't a lot available to electric cars, and we came across Pikes Peak, and they actually had a class. And we ended up building the car, purpose-built for Pikes Peak. We ran the race in 2012. We ended up setting a record for the fastest street-legal electric car to go up the hill.
Now the car that Michael is talking about is the famous M3.
342 horsepower and 850.4 pound-feet of torque.
A few years later, I saw it. This is a test of a Lidocala branded LG-HG2 cell. According to the spec sheet, this cell can do a maximum of 20 amp continuous and shouldn't go above 75 degrees Celsius in temperature. And just like that, with that little crack, the cell is damaged beyond repair. At 15 amp load, the cell reached a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, at which point the CID was triggered, and now the battery is open circuit. So that's how you kill a fake LG-HG2 branded Lidocala cells. So how much does this Powerwall cost? Let's do a rundown on the prices of all the components. First, we have the solar charge controller available for $38.99, the bidirectional meter at $29.99, non-interruptible power supply available for $30. The battery modules are $50 each. There's 10 of them, so it's $500 in total. The 32-inch metal box is $59.22. A fuse holder is $682. The battery management system, the long ones are $14 each, and the main unit is like $200, so it comes down to a total of $342. All of these components come to a grand total of $1,008 US. You can find the links for all these parts on the description of this video. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos, all having to do with DIY renewable energy.
Oh, right here, right next to you.
So you want to build a DIY Powerwall. I'll show you how to do one. Using these as batteries and these as your inverter, you can build a small DIY Powerwall. Let's get going.
We almost lost our wheel right here.